Yesterday, I faced probably my biggest demon of all time, and here's where I'm at. Like, I want to document this. Currently, I'm feeling good, I guess. This only happened yesterday. I want to document this. I feel like it's not something that's comfortable to talk about. I have made a song in the past sort of touching the subject, but I want to be able to show you guys the inside of who I am as a person. I'm not perfect. I have demons. And yeah, yesterday I had to face probably the biggest one. I didn't fully face it, but stepping out of my comfort zone and facing what I could from the situation. So this will probably get seen by these people as well now that they're in my life. I mean no bad by anything I ever say. I just truly speak from where I am and how I feel, sort of thing. But essentially, yesterday was we celebrated my brother's 30th birthday. If you might be in a similar position to this, maybe not the exact same position, but my relationship with my father has been very messed up. It could have been worse, yes, but it's I wouldn't say necessarily messed up then. I would say it's very complicated. At the age of, I believe it was, I wasn't even one, my father had left my mum and she became a single parent. We were back and forth between seeing a dad, and I thought it was later, to be honest. Through childhood, we sort of went back and forth, and then went through periods where we'd see him every fortnight to every month to every year, and it would always be back and forth. At the beginning, I think he was pretty consistent with seeing us every fortnight. And from that, things sort of de-escalated more and more. I wasn't ever really close with him, in the sense of my brother and him are very similar personality-wise, and I have similar traits to him, but interest-wise, we're not really the same. We're very polar opposite. He's very into sport. I don't care for sport. They listen to metal and rock. I don't. Now I do. I listen to some metal and rock, but back then didn't give a shit. There was a lot of... It was very different. And I found that with school, with everything, family, school, friends. I was always an odd person. I was always the odd one out. I was different. But yes, I didn't realize it was this early on. Apparently, it got to a point where I was only at the age of 11, where he'd fully stopped seeing us for a couple of years. I thought I was older than this, and I'll get to that in a minute, but it was over something stupid and petty, but we hadn't seen him for a while, a couple of years, and I know my brother, I think at one point, had moved out of my mum's house to go live with him for a bit. There was mess there as well, but it wasn't until the age of 15, when I was 14, I started getting into drinking and smoking and being an absolute rapscallion. I don't know how the fuck my mum put up with me, but she did. Shout out to mum. And I got to 15, I was smoking my friggin' face off every single day, 2 to 3 times every single day. I won't say what I was smoking, but yeah, I was smoking, and it wasn't just cigarettes. And yeah, it got to a point where I just want to be left alone. And again, me and my mum are very different in a sense of she's very chatty and wants to have company all the time, whereas I'm someone that wants to be left alone and do my own thing. And I think because I was smoking all the time, it sort of messed with my head, and I was overthinking everything. I was fucking hella depressed. I was doing all the wrong shit that led to me doing other drugs. And yeah, it got to a point where at 15, I was like, fuck you, I'm going to go live with dad for a bit. Hadn't spoken to him in that many years, so 4 years. And it was sort of out of spite. Lived there for literally a week or two, that's all it was. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor in the lounge room for that period, and it's yeah, I'll sort out the garage, I'll clean the room up and you can sort of stay in there. It never happened. I know it was just a short period of time, but there was never effort for that. And through that, at that same period of time, I actually was due for knee surgery. Another long story, but when I was younger, played soccer. I hyperextended my knee, tore my meniscus, and I'd been back and forth to the doctors, and no one could ever find shit. But eventually someone found something and they're like, bro, you've had this torn for many, many years. Like, it would dislocate every fucking step I would take. It was terrible. Way worse on stairs as well, and I always lived in like a townhouse. It was always 2-story. But yeah, eventually someone found something, and so I had to go through like like basic MRIs and X-rays and stuff. But then there was like extra ones to make sure that it was worth their time to try and fix the stuff, because it was pretty much nothing to sort of sew back together. And coincidentally, through that, when I had moved with him, I won't say the location, but the practitioner or doctor, wherever the fuck it was based in his area. I don't know why or what the reason was for that, but coincidentally, that's where it was. So there was one morning where we sort of went out together, and in this period of time, we hadn't really spoken until this moment. Really, like, again, we don't really connect in that sense. And yeah, stuff was said on that walk, and I don't want to put that online. That is something that actually, it says it in my song. If you want to go hear more on it in more like creative detail and shit, I just find it hard to say out loud. The link will be down below for all my music. Track's called Tell Me Why. If you find it, you find it. If not, whatever. But stuff was said through that. And as a 15-year-old who was already going through shit, I was sort of like, how the fuck are you telling your 15-year-old kid this when I'm in the position I'm in, and I'm clearly not in a good spot? Like, a lot of that sort of left a big stain in my head. Like, it made shit so much harder. And even due to prior years of going back and forth, like, shit like that would mess with my head. And part of me always felt that it was easier to just not have him involved at all. And I gave the analogy the other day to Mum about drugs. It's like, if you're an addict and you're trying to quit something, the best way to quit is just to cut it cold turkey. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna quit, but I'll just do it on the weekends, or like I'll slow it down over time, it's like, no. If you have it there, then you're gonna get hooked on it. And so essentially, it was the same with the pain. Like, if it's not there at all, then I won't feel the pain because there's no pain to have. But if I'm constantly going back and forth to see him, it's gonna fuck with my head more. That's how I truly felt as a kid. I realize now it's not a healthy sort of mindset, but it wasn't really a win on either side of that. It was sort of a fuck position. I think that's why it had messed with my head so much. And yeah, then from that point, stuff had happened. At the end of it, it was the last time I had seen him or spoken to him up until literally yesterday. I was 15. I turned 25 in 2 months, so it's nearly 10 years. But the last thing that had happened was I was like, oh, I'm going to go to like a friend's birthday or whatever. He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. It was literally just like a house party. Ended up being like friend's grandma who was renting a place, had just moved out, so the house was vacant, but he had keys, and cops got involved in shit. Like, we're doing heaps of stupid shit. And at the time, I got taken home in a paddy wagon. Mum wasn't even home. Like, I got taken to Mum's place because it was out her way. And she wasn't home. And essentially, I ended up going on holiday with her. I think my brother was still around. He drove us there the next day. But from the conversation that we had, I attempted the same shit because I was in such a fucked up, like, headspace. And I didn't know what else to do. I felt like I had no one around me. And I just wanted shit to stop. And yeah, I think as a kid, like, as an adult, people feel that shit. You know, he was an adult and he was feeling that shit and did the same shit. But for a kid going through that, like, bro, your brain goes to such bigger places, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think a lot of that just really fucking scarred me. But tying that into today, so yesterday was my brother's 30th, and I was obliged to go in a sense because my brother has just proposed to his girlfriend as well. Mum's like, you know, it's going to come up. He's going to be involved to some degree in your life. Like, you're going to have to make some sort of effort. And yeah, I was like, you know what? Fucking fair enough. Like, it's not something that I think I'm ready to deal with. But it's been such a long period of time, I'm a very fucking different person. If you knew the shit I did back then compared to what you guys see me post and do all the time, every day now, my God, you wouldn't believe that I did the shit I used to do. You know what I mean? So she's like, yeah, bro, you've come such a far way. Like you're not the same person. And yeah, pretty much the payout was like, I go worst case scenario, something bad happens, which I knew nothing bad would happen, but I at least tried. I made some sort of effort. I showed up for my brother. That's all that fucking matters. And both of my sisters had also gone, who I also have not seen in that long period of time, which was crazy to talk to them. So there's two of them. The eldest one's 20. I'm 25. The eldest one's 20, and the younger one's 17. And I hadn't realized when I was talking to the 17-year-old, she's like, bro, I only have like 2 memories of you, and that's it. Like, I don't remember shit. And I was like, fuck. Because in my head, I was like, the last time you saw me, I was 15. So that's 10 years ago. If you're 17 now, you're only 7 years old. And then when Mama brought up, she's like, nah, you were like 11 when you stopped seeing him properly. So she would have been 4 the last time that we properly saw each other, you know what I mean? And yes, I might have gone there for a week or 2, but she probably didn't know who the fuck I was properly, you know what I mean? And being that young. And I have a lot of memories of her, but obviously being 4 years old and below, you're not going to remember shit. And that, bro, so sad, eh? It's like, fuck. Because I have such, like, nice memories of her. And I know back then, like, me and her would hang out a lot more. And then my older brother and the older sister would hang out a lot more. Like, that's just what the dynamic sort of was. And yeah, essentially in the end, I talked to them and exchanged contacts with them. But with my father, I sort of just was in the position of like, if he comes and talks to me, then I'll make effort and at least say hello or whatever. But I feel the way that I do, and it's for a reason. And all I've ever wanted is not attention, the effort. I want some form of effort. That's the only thing he's always like. That's what a lot of this is caused from, is just the lack of effort. And still there, like everyone, there was probably like, 20, 30 people at the venue. Everyone at one point was sitting all together and talking and shit. And he just sat there with his partner up the other end in the corner of a room. And yeah, it said a lot, you know what I mean? So yeah, bro, even to say this is crazy and put this online. I don't always like putting personal shit like this fully online, but I think that's the whole point of my brand, right? Like, to go and remember. I'm, remembering the past mistakes I've made and growing from that and not making the same mistakes. Like, it's literally my brand, and that's why I preach that it's not just a fucking word that I came up with. Like, this is something I've literally lived with well before I made music, because of situations like this. Like, I pivot through the movement, you know what I mean? And all I'm trying to do is push that to other people, because I know there's a lot of other people out there that have been in similar positions, maybe not the same. There's a lot more to the story, but I obviously won't go in detail. But yeah, like in similar positions, and it feels so isolating. You feel like no one really gets it. Even family, like the youngest one said the same thing. She was like, "Oh, bro, I hated you for so long because I just didn't understand like anything. Like, I thought you just didn't want to see us." And like, yeah, it's just eye opening, bro. Like, I don't know, and I feel not obliged, but I feel grateful that I can put this out online. Like I said, I feel like they're going to see this at some point. I love you. I always have. And it's just been such a difficult thing to confront. And that's been the biggest thing that's always weighed on my mind, is like, I don't want him in my life. I want to make effort for them. I'll do it when they're older, because I don't want him to be involved. But now they're older, and I never made that effort. But it's because it's so back and forth of like, like being there for them, but not for him, if that makes sense. It's been a tricky battle. And it's something I've thought about for a very, very, very long time. And it's always at the back of my mind. But I think my problem is I see it as an issue or a problem, and I try and just shove it at the back of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, as I said, this is probably one of my bigger demons that I've had. And I've been through some fucking crazy shit, you know. But this is something that always came back, even when I have had bad drug problems. And there was a period there where I was abusing psychedelics, and a lot of it also brought that shit up. Like, there was always stuff that brought this up, you know what I mean? And I would just like, I would feel like I would sit in it, but I think realistically I've just shoved it further down and not confronted it. I'm now in a position where I can confront shit like this, and even the people around me say like, bro, we're so proud of you. Like, the fact that you can actually put yourself in those positions shows your strength, you know what I mean? And I didn't think I never labeled myself as that person, someone who's strong. Like, I probably would, but realistically I'll let shit just slide too easily or just neglect it, sort of thing. But the fact that I can actually put myself in this position, and it is due to other people being supportive around me. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it without the supportive people I have. My beautiful girlfriend, my mom, even my brother as well, you know, trying to push for this and trying to, like, not choke me about it, you know what I mean? Like, being respectful about my decision and where I'm at and who I am and stuff. But yeah, I feel like this was an important thing to document. I know I've had messages from people saying it's sick to see the progress of your journey through these verbal journals. No, I know not a lot of people watch them, but the whole point is so that if one day I pop off or people start following my journey, they can binge watch this shit and see me work from the ground up, you know what I mean? Like, I am a real person. I'm taking these real steps to get to where I want. And there's stuff like this where it's like, it's important to face these issues and problems. I hate that I call it that, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, these negative situations, facing them head on, and without doing that, like, I wouldn't be able to grow to the point that I do. So it's sick to be able to document this shit. And that goes for every aspect. Like, even my community right now is at 19 members. I don't even know how many, or if I've said how many members are in this community space in these videos. But yeah, bro, we're at 19 members, which is fucking nuts. The engagement isn't as good as what I would like it to be, and I'm constantly working on improving shit. But the people that have been involved have had good results, and yeah, bro, that's just gonna take off. I know it's a matter of time. Like, just me putting in the effort of constantly trying to provide value to other people, even if I feel the way I do, like constantly trying to help other people, it helps myself as well. Because there's situations like this where it's like, if I'm just doing it on my own, then I'm not going to be able to confront situations like this, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyways, it's been good. I didn't think I'd be able to ramble for nearly 20 minutes about this one topic, but as I said, there's more details. If you want to hear more about it, my music is linked below. If you want to be a part of this community where we're all trying to push for growth and be the best versions of ourselves, there will also be a link down below to book a one-on-one call with myself. I'll find out a little bit more about you, see if you fit for the group. But yeah, thanks for watching this, guys. I love you so much. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. I always screw that bit up. Take care and peace.